Okay, and here we are where this is the part two of the using the template guides for cutting the pattern shapes, and this will be the second part, second video. Okay, this is just going to be a visual now. This is 1/2 inch MDF. This is what I make the patterns out of. Okay, and this is a piece of scrap board, and so we set the router pattern or template follower. The template guide is set for this 1/2 inch, and then this is the board. So the router bit sticks down where it just comes through the board, and that's all. And when it comes through the board, it'll be cutting the board, and it'll be following the pattern. So you'll see that. I'm gonna shut this down and set up, and actually I'm gonna cut 4 of these so you can see how I do it. Okay, now we're gonna cut this. First one we're gonna cut is a dog bone. I'm gonna cut it right out of the center, but you could cut it out of anywhere. But I'm gonna cut it right out of the center. I'm gonna tap it gently with a hammer, pick up the router, find a switch. And then when you get ready to get into the cut, you set the edge of the router bait, and you drop down into the cut, and you pull the router up to the pattern, and then all you do is follow around the outside of that pattern. You kind of want to stay above your router. When you come out of it, you do the same thing. You leave the router base down on the pattern until your cutter is cleared. And then once your cutter is cleared, then you have your dog bone. And sometimes the nails don't come too good, but that's the dog bone. Now we're gonna shut it off, move the board, and do another one. Okay, here we go for the next one. This is a small ribbon pattern. Going to be the same way. I'm gonna miss that knot, so I'm gonna move it up a little bit. Turn the router on. Come back into the wood. And that's the ribbon board. Now we'll do another. Now here's the next ribbon. Now you know there's a knot here and there's a knot here. What we're going to do is we're going to get in between those. We're going to be sure that we have enough at the end. We're going to get in between those. And that's all there is to it. Turn the router on. Lay it down on the edge of the pattern. Drop into the water. Bring it over against the pattern. Making sure that you keep the router flat on the pattern. Again, when we come out, we just sort of lift it out to the side. Turn it off, set it there, and there's our next ribbon. Okay, now here's the last one. And I had to get another board simply because of the knots in that other board. I couldn't get this out and make it a good board, a good sign board to cut. Now I'm working around the knots on this one. And this is going to be the last one we cut. I just wanted to do enough of these to give you an idea to be comfortable doing it. It's going to take some practice to get good at it, but you'll be able to do it. Don't worry about it. Again, you drop down and you bring it over against your pattern, and you slowly just let the pattern guide. Router is not really the best router to use these with, but it's not too bad. We're cutting about 5/8 of an inch there's the large ribbon board. Now, you know, okay. Now you've seen the way I do all of these patterns. Now, no matter what pattern you're cutting, whether it's, and we're going to have more patterns for you, but no matter what pattern you're cutting, no matter what shape you're cutting, if you have a pattern for it, the principle is exactly the same. You dip into the wood and you cut around it and you come up with a nice pattern to make yourself a sign. So that's basically what I wanted to tell you. This is running a little bit longer than we wanted it to run, but this gives you a little bit more than what I did on the other video. And so I just wanted you to know a little bit more. I showed a little bit more on this one about cutting with patterns because we keep getting questions on that. So that's all we're going to do on this one. We may have to split this in two. If not, you'll see it all in one. So we'll see you on the next video. My son told me that I forgot to tell you, if you buy a pattern from us to make these patterns, to make your boards, no matter what pattern you buy, once you learn to use a pattern, one of the first things you want to do is get a piece of 1/2" MDF, take your pattern and make another pattern from it. It'll be just a maybe 50 thousandths larger pattern, but you want to always have a spare pattern so that when you're dropping into the wood with your router, if something happens and you come over and nick your pattern, you don't want to have to buy a new pattern. You got a good pattern, make another spare pattern. That's one of the first things you want to do, so you always have a spare. My son told me I had to tell you that, and I forgot. So here we are again. So we'll see you on the next one.